Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Lunchtime Nuggets. I'm Robin Weisner. I am a life coach and the creator of the Lighter Way Wellness Program, which is whole life wellness for midlife women. And I'm excited to be here again with you today. We are halfway through the week. I hope you're having a great week. I hope that you've been enjoying these nuggets. I'd love to know if you're watching live or on the replay. Actually, if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. But if you're watching live, let me know what the weather is like where you are in the world today. It is a strange kind of foggy day, but it's supposed to be like 80. The leaves are starting to fall. So I actually really love this time of year. So if you're just joining me, give me a wave, give me some thumbs up or some hearts, let me know that you're there. And today I'm going to talk about the effect of inflammatory foods or inflammation in general with your health and with weight loss. This is something, hey Katie, I get so excited, Katie's my person. Inflammatory foods and inflammation, definitely we start to see issues with it. I think younger and younger nowadays, but as our foods change, the processing of our foods change, as the American diet changes, but especially as we enter into that perimenopause, menopause age, inflammation, I believe, becomes a big issue or a big factor in our overall health. So before I go any further, I just have to give a disclaimer that I'm not a dietitian or a nutritionist, and so nothing I say today is meant to be medical advice or anything like that. I'm simply a nerd. I'm sharing what I've learned on my own journey, and everything I'm sharing with you is public information that I've learned from books and from mentors and from courses that I've taken. So, this is my experience, what I'm sharing with you as a best practice that I've learned and that I share with my clients, and they found it works for them. But as always, I encourage you to become an expert in the study of one, which is you. So take what I'm about to say for what it's worth and then go and do your own research, all right? So let's start with just defining what inflammation is. Well, inflammation, hey Leanna, inflammation, simply put, is our body's response. It's not a bad thing necessarily. Inflammation helps us heal. So have you ever had a splinter in your finger and you never see how it gets like red and raised and it's really painful to the touch? I mean, that is your body's reaction to a foreign invader in your body, and it fills the cells with fluid to protect it and try to heal it. And that's pretty easy to, we've had times where we've hurt ourselves dramatically. We've had surgery or whatever injuries, and you see there's, definitely redness and swelling, and it's on the outside of our bodies. We can see it for real. Well, when there's another type of inflammation, that would be considered like acute inflammation. So it comes on instantly, and it's instant, severe, right away. You can see it. But there is also the effect of our internal inflammation that can come from environmental factors and the processed foods that we eat. And sometimes we don't have an acute reaction. Sometimes it is a buildup over years, could be over a long period of time, of eating foods that are processed or that you might have a food sensitivity to, and your body continues to build up that protective wall against it. And that's when we start feeling, we start saying like, I just feel so bloated and puffy. You might even be eating healthy foods, but there might be something that your body it doesn't agree with. And that's why I'm really careful when I don't tell people what they should or should not eat, because there is no one size fits all. I actually equip my clients to do the discovery and figure out what works best for them, because foods that might cause inflammation for me might not for you. So you have to you have to try it and track it and see what works best for you. So some of the effects of chronic inflammation. Oh, I got a sneeze coming. Excuse me. Hopefully it's not going to come. Um, chronic inflammation, if I didn't say this already, chronic inflammation is the root of nearly every curable disease and a lot of autoimmune diseases. So it can be a cause of rheumatoid arthritis, ulcerative colitis, IBS, some allergy symptoms, runny nose, sneezing, the bloating, lupus, Crohn's, migraines, achy joints. All of these things are rooted in inflammation. The inflammation in our joints. I have plenty of friends and clients that have told me when they start allowing sugar back into their diet, their joints literally ache. They can feel it in their joints. And I know it can be so frustrating because maybe for most of your life you were able to eat that and it didn't bother you. The body changes. Our body is not the same from year to year, or maybe not even from month to month. For me, I love bread very much, and I used to love having like a peanut butter English muffin. I would have one every day, and then all of a sudden, I started feeling like there's just this brick in my stomach, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. Well, when I stopped eating the bread, the bloating went away. Can't explain it. Your body, it's almost like, think of it like this. It's the same kind of thing with allergies, right? I remember my youngest son. The doctor explaining this to us. He had several different allergies, different things, trees and grass and pet dander. And we had 2 dogs and 2 cats. We got a 3rd dog, and all of a sudden he just exploded in hives and like severe allergic reaction. And we were like, how could this be? He's grown up 5 years or however old he was. He's been around these pets all the time. Well, the doctor said, it's like you have this bucket. And when the bucket gets to the top, it just takes one little thing to cause it to spill over. And now you have this inflammation. Now you have this reaction. So the same thing can happen to us. And so we have to get diligent in finding out what that is. And so that's what I really love helping women solve, is figuring out how we can get to the bottom of that. It's not as simple as just cut out this food group and that food group. Like, you need to monitor your food intake, your symptoms, trying a little bit at a time. And that's a whole nother thing. But just know that if you're in this perimenopause stage and you're feeling just like, I'm doing all these right things and I'm just not making progress with, my health goals, or I don't feel good, my sleep is disturbed, my joints ache, these kind of things, consider looking at inflammatory foods. And most likely you'll see at least one on there. We're going to go, that's one I probably shouldn't have. I was working with a client who was vegetarian. You think that's a very healthy way to eat, and just could not get the weight off. And there is a gut biome test that I recommend that I have done. It's really, really awesome. And long story short, when she got the results back, she was like, oh my gosh, she just started following what the foods that said that she had an intolerance for, or that, was causing inflammation, to avoid. And she lost like 35 pounds. So it can be that easy. So, not saying it works like that for everyone, right? But if you feel like you're doing all the right things and the weight's still not coming off, it just might be that there's something healthy that you're eating, like quinoa. I can't eat quinoa. It's inflammatory to me. So the question that you want to remember to ask yourself is, before you eat food, is this real food? Is it real food? The closer to the source, the better. Fresh, organic, off the vine, the fresher, the better. The closer to the source, the better. And that's not to say that we never eat anything that's not real food. We just have to weigh whether or not it's worth it. That's the next question. Is it worth it? There are times where it is worth it for me to have a mini blizzard delivered to my door. Okay? I don't care. It doesn't bother me, and it does good for my state of mind. And I have to count the cost before I have it, but that's my choice, right? And so, and also I know, bread makes me feel terrible, but if somebody brings me a fresh baked loaf of sourdough, you better believe I'm going to have some. I'm not going to miss out on that. So we have to stop having this all or nothing mindset. One tool that I want to share with you is I have created this meal planning made easy kit. You can get it. I'll put the link down below. I've created it. It's on my online university. And this is not just meal planning. I created it specifically for women in midlife because I've added inflammatory food lists and anti-inflammatory food lists, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow. I'm going to talk about how to reduce inflammation. But this has a great list in there for you, so I'll provide a link to that. And Leanna, I'll provide a link for the test. And I find it to be very reliable. One thing to say, though, about those gut tests, because I was talking to a registered dietitian about it recently. So the test that I'm talking about, it's a stool sample test. And so it's not necessarily a food sensitivity test. It actually is testing the bacteria and the viruses in your gut, and it gives you a full list of every virus, which we have good and bad things in our gut, right? But it has a list of every virus, every strain of bacteria, and then it tells you your inflammation factor and all that. It gives you a list of recommended foods that are like your superfoods. Foods that are good to eat as much as you want, foods that you should minimize, and foods that you should just not have. Like, for example, when I took the test the last time, I had a virus in my gut that usually comes on tomatoes. And so it suggested that I avoid eating tomatoes and a lot of times people with inflammation need to avoid nightshades, which is tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, and peppers. Probably because they have some sort of a virus on them. So anyway, not to get into the weeds, that test, right, when I took that test, that was a snapshot of my gut on that single day. And the information was really useful and helpful, and I felt great following the recommendations, and I know other people have too. But your gut biome is kind of like, this is how the dietitian explained it to me, it's kind of like walking into the ocean and looking at the sand, right? You see it how it is now, but you kick it up and it changes daily, right? It's going to change daily. So, there's nothing that's like absolute gospel truth, like I take the test today and then my gut is going to be the same next week, right? So yeah, so just keep that in mind. But it is a good guideline to know kind of where you are. But I'm telling you, reducing inflammation is so important. I'm not even talking about weight loss, for our health. If we want to reduce all of those menopause and postmenopause symptoms, the hot flashes, the achy joints, the sleep disturbances, the body aches, bloating, stiffness, all those kind of things. It's so straightforward. It's not even a prescription to look into the foods that we're eating and start eliminating the ones that we think might be causing a problem. So, was that helpful? Did you like that? Good deal. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, it does give a ton of information. And Leanna, I'll send you the link. It has a whole app, and you can do more studies and everything within their app. It is kind of new science. I think it's better than like the Everlywell and those other ones that are just doing food sensitivities. This one is actually telling you what is in your gut. So good job. You finally put your cell phone out of the bedroom. Good. Awesome. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining. I love this subject. I hope you'll come back tomorrow. We're going to talk about ways to reduce inflammation, because I don't want to leave you hanging. Got to give you the other part of the story. And I have some resources for anti-inflammatory recipes. Like I said, I'm not about diets, but there is a way to eat that is anti-inflammatory, and it's very simple, it's straightforward. Eat whole foods. So, all right, you guys, take care, enjoy the rest of the day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.